All right, folks, got a real treat for you today. I'm going to be working on this chimney here that's been a persistent problem chimney for like the last 20 years or so that these homeowners have owned the home. And many people have tried to come and take care of the issue, but I'm gonna show you how to fix it once and for all. So just a couple things you'll notice here is the lead flashing. So anytime there's an issue with water, people think that they can, just fix it with tar and silicone or flash seal or flashing in a can. Someone has actually replaced this piece of flashing here and they remortared it in, and it's it's just whatever. So another thing that you can notice quickly is if you look at this brick, it's all shiny, okay? And so people just seal it and seal it and seal it. And whoever sealed this obviously put a shiny sealer. It's probably a concrete sealer that they put on there, which you don't want to keep sealing your chimney like that. You don't want to try to make this impermeable because then it won't breathe. You just want water to bead off the brick and just not absorb. So there's a lot of sealer on that. And there's another thing you'll notice is, they paid someone a lot of money to put this stainless cap on it. It's a big stainless cap, right? But look at this. See what the edge is here? It doesn't even go over the edge of the chimney. So 100% of the water that lands on top of this hits the chimney, and it's worse on this side than it is on this side because there's less of an overhang, but the water curls around, and with the capillary effect it kind of rolls around here, and if you come up here in the rain, this whole top is soaking wet and it just runs down the chimney because it doesn't extend beyond. And there's not really a drip edge on here. It just kind of tapers in, and I guess it just drips off at the bottom here. But 100% of the water that hits that is running on the chimney. So if you're going to put a custom cap on, you might as well make sure it extends beyond the chimney. Otherwise, there's really no point because we're trying to keep the water off the chimney. So, I'll just give you a look around. Everyone that's been here, there's been many people here trying to fix this problem. And everyone that's been here thinks that this is how they solve it. Silicone, tar, they mortar in a piece of lead, which, that lead, it's got actually a pretty good crack in it now. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do this, and we're not going to mess about. Even though, you might look at the lead and be like, oh, well, maybe it's okay, maybe we can save it. No, if I redo this job, it's going to be my job, and I'm taking everything. So I'm starting fresh, and look, I've got nails through the lead. Nice, real nice. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get to the bottom of it. The lead will all come off. These shingles will all come off. The ridge caps will come off. And I'll show you how I'm going to do it start to finish. I'm going to take this job and I'm just going to own it. Okay? Water may still leak in through absorbing through the top of the chimney, but it will not leak through the lead. This stuff is just mesh to vent the attic. So you put this under the shingles and it's supposed to be breathable through there. And I'll have a hole cut right at the ridge beam here, just like so. You got air that comes up from the attic and can escape. This is a nice little feature that this guy did before he roofed it, is put this on there to help, hold everything up where it needs to be. It seems nice. I've actually not seen anybody do that before. It seems like a good idea. So they've cut all the lead short of the roof here, which, I don't like that at all. I don't know why anybody would do that. I see that they have it step flashed here with aluminum flashing, and really you shouldn't put aluminum and lead together. they're not really compatible over the long term. I know it takes a while for reactions to happen, but they're not really supposed to go together. And then also, look at, you cut the lead here at the roof line, right? And then you have to silicone it and nail it in, otherwise the wind will just blow it out. Doesn't make any sense at all. Even if you want to step flash it underneath like that, you still would have the lead bend onto the top of the roof by at least a couple inches. That way it doesn't blow up. Stop cutting lead at the roof line, for crying out loud. Oh, nice ice and water shield job right there too. That's doing a lot. Nope. Okay, so we'll just do this. Get to the bottom of this thing, see what's going on. Yeah, look at this. It's not even ice and water shield, it's all folded down in there. It's ice and water shield here just on the edge. Look at that. That's the original lead right there. Oh yeah. Someone really put the original lead coming out right flush with the roof. Beauty. And now look at this hole. Look at that hole. That hole goes right into the chimney. Wonder how deep that hole goes. I mean, it looks like it could. I don't have anything that's small enough to go in there, but you know, that is, yeah. I mean, I wonder if that hole could go all the way inside the chimney, it looks like. We're real close. This is why you got to take the time to make sure all these joints are full as you're coming through the roof, you know, underneath the flashing. Everything's got to be full. Otherwise, it's just, you know, what happens is the water absorbs in there and it all wells up in the holes like that and then just leaks out steady. You know, this chimney's just storing water with all the water coming down on top of it. So when it stores enough water, it wells up in that hole and it just leaks into your house. Look at this disaster here. Like, what is this? I don't know. What am I looking at? Just terrible. There's so many layers of tar and silicone and masonry sealer. It's just like, oh. Rips right out. Rips right out of there. This is what happens when you point in lead with mortar the old-fashioned way. You know, has such a hard time for that mortar to hold like that, you know. It's different when you're laying the brick and you're actually laying it with the new mortar and the brick on top and it all dries kind of slow. When you're just pointing a little bit of mortar like that, it always cracks up. It doesn't bond to the lead. It's not a good thing. I stopped doing that a long time ago. And some guys strictly only do that. Well, I suppose they can just have it their way and do it how they want, but I don't do lead flashing like that anymore. Also, you see these guys, they've literally sealed everything up 100%. If water condensates behind here, which it will, moisture can get, the chimneys always condensate, and it's got to let go of that moisture. Well, now you've just trapped in all that moisture. Where is it got to go? It's got to go in the house. Although, I don't know why they've put this top line here, because you're not hitting anything with that line at all. This is the nail line here. See it? These two here? You got to hit that nail right where these shingles overlap. Otherwise you high nail it. Okay? Like this one. That shingle's high nailed. And you only got it through one part of the shingle, not the double thick part. So, you know, if you high nail too many shingles like that, then they start slipping. Really, you're supposed to nail it right there on that nail line, not above. If your shingles are, you know, just, you get a steep pitch and they're sliding out off, you know, they're falling out, It's probably because they're high nailed, just like that. You think a roofer would know what a nail line is. I don't know. But then again, maybe CertainTeed is saying you can nail up there because they got that blue line. It's confusing. You're supposed to nail it through, you know, where these parts overlap. That way you get the meat of the shingle. Not up here. There's nothing there. Is this wax paper? Nice wax paper from the ice and water shield they put up here. What is this? Oh, real nice. Real nice. They ran out of underlayment, so they put wax paper over the crack. Beauty. Whatever it takes. At least they put decent underlayment down. You know, this is rooftop guard, it looks like. And, you know, they used the Grace ice and water shield, which is good stuff. Except for it looks like where the roofer came in, look. He put his ice and water shield here and he didn't lap it. As tempting as it might be to leave this, because you look at it and you're like, oh, it's holding up fine, right? No. You take it, it's all gonna come off. Okay? And now we're gonna expose all the stuff that's hiding, like these empty mortar joints. And so this will give us an opportunity to fix all these problems that might seem little, but they really add up. You have open holes, and it's just really crude. Like so some of this, like look at this piece, it juts out right here, right? It's not flat in any way. So we can chisel off all those high spots. You know, look at this spot here. We can take some of this stuff out, flatten it out, add some, you know, chisel out this joint right here is just wide open right into the house, you know. You can't tell me water won't wick out of that hole. You know, the water builds in here, and these brick will store a little bit of water. And so all it has to absorb is just beyond the lead, right? And then if you leave these open spots like this, it will just wick right beyond the lead and just well out. It'll well up and just drip right down that. So we want all this stuff to be full and flat. We want our lead to lay flat against it. So this will give us a chance to just clean it all up. So the mortar's pretty rough. Like, for some reason, nobody likes to tidy this stuff up underneath the lead. They put the lead on and just leave it, you know, whatever underneath. But man, this is just, I can't tell you how bad it is to have these holes right here. Like that hole goes right into the chimney. You know, just take a little time. If you're building a new chimney, you just take a little time and make sure all your joints are full under the lead. Otherwise, what happens is they just have persistent water problems for, you know, like these people, like 20 years worth of water problems. And it's totally avoidable. Okay. There's a hole right there. Water's gonna wick right out of that hole down. And yeah, it's not gonna happen every rainstorm, but when we have rain, like we've had rain this year, you know, in the Northeast, we've had some record-breaking rain this year. And, you know, these problem chimneys, you know, especially when they're big like this, it seems like almost like the bigger the chimney, the more problems they have. And I think it's because a lot of water comes in through the top. But these years where there's a lot of rain, like this year, you know, all of a sudden everybody's calling to do, you know, lead work. Or at least that's what I do anyway. Other people will come up here with a can of flash seal, some sort of magical save all paint that you can paint onto your chimney and it will just save it. If you're a homeowner and you're looking for somebody to repair your chimney and they want to come up here and put tar all over the place, just tell them to go home. If they want to put silicone all up the joints to fix it, because they're going to charge you a lot of money just for taking, you know, an $8 tube of silicone and just siliconing everything up and said, yeah, oh yeah, it's waterproof 100%. No way. When you have water problems like this, for me, what I like to do is just take the whole project on. You know, roofing is very easy. Flashing work is easy. Nobody wants to do all of it. The mason will come and say, oh, I'll fix the flashing, but I'm not touching the roofing. You're gonna have to call a roofer. Well, the roofer doesn't know anything about flashing most of the time either. So he's not gonna do the flashing. So he comes up, and what he does, you put new flashing on, and the first thing he does is cut the flashing. You know, just cuts it right on line with and then he puts aluminum step flashing behind it because he thinks that's the way to do it, but it's just not the way to do it. So this is what it's starting to look like. I've just gone around with my cordless grinder with the cup wheel, a diamond cup wheel on it, and I'm just trying to roughly flatten out some of this brick and the mortar that was sticking out. It's real aggressive, so just taking off the high spots. And now, you know, I'll just come back with my jackhammer, my little rotary hammer, and chisel out some of those bad mortar spots so I can redo it. Okay, so I'm going to open up some of these holes just a little bit wider to get some mortar in there. Jeez. Wow. The guy that put this that did the old lead job. Geez, he opened it right up into all the way in. Jeez, he cut it right out, didn't he? He goes right into the chimney. Oh, if you can see that or not. Well, let me cut some of this stuff out so I can tuck some mortar back in there. Okay, we're just gonna mix up a little bit at a time. Just do it by hand up here. Everything's drying up nice. Got this side all buttoned up. Everything's kind of buttoned up now, and I'm getting ready to do this little trick before I put the ice and water shield on. So I'm just gonna get a quick measurement here. Okay, we're about, call it 46.5. Okay. So anytime I put ice and water shield up onto the chimney now, I always put some metal up onto the side first. There's no point in putting the ice and water shield there if it won't stay. So the metal gives it something nice to stick to. This is just mill finish drip edge for rubber roofing. You can get that at your local hardware store. So it's EPDM drip edge, or like commercial drip edge. You'd see it on a commercial building, and then they put the rubber roofing over the top of it. So it's bent at 90 degrees. So I'm gonna have to try to just bend it a little bit. And you can see if I just put it up here, it doesn't really work. So I've got to bend it, and I'm actually going to flatten this whole lip here. This is just a drip edge, so the water sheds away, and I'm just gonna flatten that out. Okay, that's good enough. And now I'm gonna take and just try to bend it. Now, I don't have a metal brake or anything, so this is just how I do it. And now, that's pretty good. So that's about what we're looking for there. And so I'll just have to nail that on. And then this ice and water shield can now lap right up on there, and it's gonna hold because it's sticking to metal. There you go, that's that one. And just eyeball it, this is not overly critical. Just like so. Okay, now when I put this tight in, it should hold for me. Also, I just want to mention that anytime you're working with metal like this, you ought to be wearing gloves because stuff gets super sharp. Okay, so I'll put that first one in here, get it to hold in like that, and then I'll go up. Force that in. Like that. Just like that. That ought to hold it just fine. You don't need a crazy amount of nails in it, just a couple. That's gone past the corner just a little bit. So I'm just gonna bend it like that. I don't want that sharp edge sticking into my rubber membrane, so just bend it around the corner. Oh, I actually gotta straighten this plank up. I forgot I moved it. I actually moved the plank. Okay, keep that tight up. Now we'll see where we're at here. 14, 15. Okay, now I've got my mark there, 15 inches, and I'm gonna ride this plank here. I'm just gonna ride the plank with my blade, just like that. Got my first piece. Do the same thing again. So this is the Grace Ice and Water Shield, and you know, there's other types that you could use. It just happens that, you know, I think some of them are decent, but a lot of them are not very good. So I end up using the Grace, even though I don't care for the wax paper on it. I'd rather have plastic like some of the other ones. The wax paper is kind of a joke. And then also the Grace has this gooey stuff at the end. It's really hard to cut and makes it a pain to install, but I wish they didn't have that for my application. You know, they have it on one side and not the other so much. But whatever, you just work with it. And I know it's just to help it stick together or whatever, so just deal with it. Okay, so we're gonna overlap right there in the middle. I can install this one just like this, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know, an inch up on that metal. So this is how you do it. And pro tip, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this is the usable piece of ice and water shield. Some people don't know that. This is actually the waterproof membrane. This is just garbage. This just goes in the garbage. This gets used on the roof. This goes in the trash can. Just so we're clear before we get started. I know some people might disagree. But I'm pretty sure if you go on the Grace Ice and Water Shield website and look at the manufacturer's installation instructions, it probably doesn't want you using the wax paper as a waterproof membrane. Okay, so that's started, and that's on the metal, and so that's not going anywhere. But look, this is not going to stick to that masonry. It won't. It just won't, because it's green, and also, you know, it doesn't want to stick to it. It will stick initially to like brickwork or blockwork, but it will stick initially, but then after it expands and contracts a couple times, it gives up, and it sags down and it doesn't hold on to the masonry anymore. This is why I put the metal on. It can never sag down once this is done like this. Okay, so I've got it started, right? Now I'm gonna lift these shingles, and I'm gonna pull this wax paper. As I'm doing that, I'm just gonna slowly work it in. And you know, with Grace, we're always gonna get some kinks like this. You can't help it. We just don't want it to look too bad. Okay, so I've gone down just a little too far there. I'll have to cut this a bit. Whoops. Okay, and the corner detail is this. Okay, we're gonna stick our blade in right here at the corner. At the bottom where that metal starts, we're gonna come back at like a 45 degree, lay that down. Okay, wrap this around just like that. Stuck to the metal. It's like stuck perfectly. It won't come off. This stuff is dangerous, so if you decide that you're not going to use it as a roofing underlayment, just make sure it gets off the roof, because you don't want to step on this. If it's free on the roof, just, you know, floating around, just throw it off. Yeah, I'll probably have to cut it on the bottom. I've already messed it up. Okay. Yeah, this stuff gets really sticky, so you want to leave the wax paper on the back as long as you can and just pull it down slow after, because otherwise it will start sticking to itself. It will start sticking to the roof. It'll start sticking to the metal when you don't want it to. So we'll leave that wax paper on just until we're ready to set it down. Okay, just like that. Okay, now we're ready to pull this wax paper a little more. And just, you don't have to pull it too far all at once. Just, you know, get it to settle down here. That's that. And when the sun hits this, it literally just melts it into place, and you're not gonna move it after. Right now it acts like it's not gonna stick, but it's gonna stick. It won't have a choice come tomorrow when the sun hits it. Okay, we're not gonna do any roofing with this, so you toss it off the roof. Or I could just save it. Look at this. Just save it for tonight, put it over that crack. That stuff's rated for water, right? I'll show you a little trick. Just a little trick. So we're gonna cut, just kind of eyeball this into a square here, right? Square, roughly. Cut that piece off. I'm gonna cut another square just for the heck of it. Okay, cut that piece off. Now we're gonna go just corner to corner roughly. Doesn't have to come off right on the corner. But we'll just get a little triangle piece like this. You pull this all off at once. Before we put the side pieces on, I'm gonna take this triangle piece, okay, and I'm gonna just stick this right in here like this. Okay, this just offers a little bit of extra, and this little piece of the triangle, it's actually nice and flexible, so you can actually just bend that nice around like that, and then it's just on there. And then when the next piece comes over, we know we've got plenty of coverage from this cut I made, you know, and that will stick on there nicely and just stay. And we'll do the same thing on this side. 5:26. Gotta be out of here in like 30 minutes. 30 minutes, so I gotta bring my daughter to soccer practice. I better get moving. Okay, just like that. We wanna be at least like an inch up. Get this to fold under. About an inch up, I guess. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, couple wrinkles, darn it. And this one just gets cut like this, just the same as the other one does. 45-degree kind of away. You can see I've got this little piece in there, kind of just helping out on this corner. You know, make sure I get a little bit more coverage, that's all. Find the corner. There you go. Sticking to this stuff already. See, this other stuff I put on is it's a Sil Pro product called TDQ, Thin Deep Quick, and that stuff is really rapid set. This mortar says rapid set, but I mean, it's still wet. This stuff is like drying already, and it was put on last. This stuff is nasty to work with. I didn't get it on video because you have to just mix it and work with it so fast, and it just sets up. And that'll make anybody look bad, this stuff. So even if you're an experienced pro, it makes you look bad. You gotta work in small batches and real quick. Otherwise it locks up on you and makes you look like a fool. No, maybe I do it like... I do it like that. Now, can I use wax paper to just watertight this for the night? Who would have thought? Maybe I learned a valuable trick from this guy. Throw a drop cloth over this. All right, get this stuff out of here. Another drop cloth. These drop cloths help to shed the water pretty good too. You know, they don't really absorb water very well, so the water that hits them kind of wants to run off a bit. Just leave that stuff up. Leave that stuff up here for the night. Trusty hat. Leave this stuff up here.